I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice.
Do your own research.
Consult a professional investment advisor before making any investment decisions.
This show is for entertainment only. Faites vos propres recherches.
Here we are
in another episode
at the Simple Success Podcast.
And
this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective.
Previously on Simple Success.
Why should our creative types even care? They should care, my dear DT, because this will be just one. Just one? Of what? Of their MSIs, my silly debacle of horse hooves.
Yeah. And now, just like with a previously on thing on TV, we take you directly to this week's episode.
Look, Mom, I'm a podcaster. That's what you need to say. You write a prompt, select the style, and we'll show you the way. You too can make a podcast. Come along and see.
So we're going to help people make their own podcasts? That is exactly what we're going to do. But there are millions of podcasts. New ones come out all the time.
Oh, what a wonder. No need to be a tech wizard. Just bring your passion.
That might be true, John, but that doesn't make them good ones. You mean ones worth listening to, right? That's exactly what I mean. The good ones are probably something like 1 in 1,000. Good, yeah. And by good, you mean with music and sound effects.
Yeah, just good production stuff like we've always done.
So let's get started. Yeah, I'm with you on that, but where do you start?
You too can make a podcast. Come along and see with the help and guidance. So
I mean, once the niche pastime of tech enthusiasts,
podcasting has exploded into a cultural phenomenon.
I guess you're right, it has. Telling a story, sharing expertise, or just having a fun conversation. Podcasting offers a unique platform for expression. I mean, you've watched the medium grow, and now you are ready to add your voice to the mix. Yeah, but again, where do you start?
Will help you be amazing?
Like this.
We'll help you? Is that what you said?
Will help you be amazing?
That's what I thought you said. How will you help me be amazing? And how will this tie in to our normal finance stuff? It'll tie in as we explain how we're starting our new life in a network. And as we offer our best tools and experience. Correct, my dear great-grandson of DT's great-grandfather.
Which will make us better.
I am a musician, and I want to write songs. I really don't know what I'm doing.
Assuming you have a place from whence the listening can begin.
Like a podcast network?
Thinking that could possibly be.
Thinking? What a coincidence, ADT. I've been thinking too. What if we set up our own podcast network?
The potential is huge.
Well, my enthusiastic podcaster and entrepreneur, as a skeptical friend with a penchant for analysis, that's me, I first have to ask, a podcast network? Sounds ambitious, but do you really think we can pull it off?
Yes, my liege.
Absolutely, but it won't be easy. We need to approach this, like everything, with patience, persistence, and repetition. Which I call PPR. PPR? Is that your magic formula? I'd say it's more like a guiding principle. A guiding principle? Yeah, something that we have to have. It has to be there. It's not optional then? No, it's not. In fact, here's how I see it. Without patience, we'll get frustrated during slow growth. Slow growth? That sounds a bit disheartening, John. Not at all. Think about it, DT. Most podcasts don't become hits overnight. It takes time for listeners to find us and for us to refine our content.
Of course.
Okay, fair point. But how do we keep our motivation up if results take time? That is where PPR helps. And I can tell you that from personal experience. Patience allows us to stay focused on our long-term goals, even when immediate results aren't visible. I see what you mean. No, you don't. I said not visible. Okay. I get it. But what if we get bogged down in details and never launch?
The old analysis paralysis thing.
Well, that would be not doing it, which we don't do. And also, that's where persistence comes in. You mean we constantly learn, or what? Yeah, that, and we also adapt while keeping our end goal in sight.
So persistence sounds good, but I worry about burnout, especially if we're not seeing quick wins.
That's a valid concern, DT. But think about it like this. Every podcast episode is a step forward, no matter how small. Each episode is a chance to engage an audience. It's a chance for our creatives and a chance for the network.
That's true, but what if our early shows don't resonate?
Well, we don't know that's true yet, but if it is, then we'll tweak and improvise. That's the beauty of persistence. It's about sticking with it and evolving. You know, I didn't get to publishing 400 episodes by expecting success after the first one.
But that would have been okay, right?
That is something I will answer not, my friend.
I suppose that means we have to accept criticism and learn from it.
Exactly. Now remember, every piece of feedback is an opportunity.
Okay, so that's patience.
Yeah?
How do the other parts of PPR, the persistence and the repetition, how do they fit into this?
Fear not, DT. We're going there, just not in
Act 1.
Okay, so that means Act 2 or Act 3. That's when the fun?
Yep. With episodes rolling, our journey's begun.
Together we soar. Together we've won.
So here's to the laughter that challenges spun
in this podcast endeavor and in
Break number 1.
Break number 1? Descanso numero uno? Who's kidding who about that?
I don't know exactly.
I mean, that was the point at which we had become used to taking those, what are they called?
Descansos?
Yeah, the breaks, yeah.
In Spanish.
Yeah, so this would be
Descanso numero uno.
Right, except now we're talking about what?
Break-like stuff.
Oh, you mean like what we used to say in break slots?
Which we designed to be easy to fit in and easy to replace.
Just like we're doing now, with stuff like this.
When you can't tell if it's a break or if the show's still continuing.
Why can't you tell?
Because there's a continuity to the whole thing.
A what?
A continuity.
Which is what?
Which is that most people,
you included sometimes.
Yeah, me included sometimes.
Can't tell that the meat of the episode has made a very smooth transition.
Thanks, Matthew. Transition into DT?
Into what is really marketing stuff or maybe even a real ad.
Without sounding a single bit different.
And you know, a lot of advertisers just raise the volume.
Yeah, you can even measure it on some TVs.
Not to mention some podcasts where the engineering needs help.
Like most people's podcasts.
Yeah, not counting the 20 or 30,000 or so that are on our network.
You mean the one that started in 1998?
Yeah, in Ohio, that one.
Yeah, we've been doing this way before podcasts were even a thing.
Back when podcasts were made of wood and powered by steam.
We could just tell, you feel me?
Yeah.
So other people can fill this spot.
Indeed, whether it rhymes or not.
Either way, that's enough of this rot.
Yeah, let's be on to Act 2, where lessons are taught.
And we're telling people more about this opportunity, right?
Yeah, to be part of this network where they can get stuff done.
Repeatedly?
Said
Doubting Thomas.
Yes, repeatedly. On the network where we hone our skills and shape our brand identity.
Said
John Brandy.
Good comeback, DT. And that was a great question, by the way. My salacious, syllabalistic salamander.
Salamander. Well, at least I'm not sibilant.
Like a serpent, you mean?
So I can say so into a mic like this. So you're saying we should aim for consistency?
Yes, exactly. Regularly releasing episodes builds a habit for our listeners. They'll know when to expect new content.
But won't they get bored if we stick to a formula too strictly?
Probably not, but maybe. So we mix it up while maintaining a core theme. Maybe we vary a piece of music or a tag or something, but there's a core. The repetition is about consistency in delivery, not in the moment-by-moment thing.
But it's good to have things that sound familiar, right?
Of course, and I see what you're saying. That's format.
Format?
Yes, you can, and you probably should have some repetition in format. Spice up with a little variation like any good producer would do.
You mean it should sound familiar the second time?
Yeah, and the third time and beyond to maintain the flow.
Ah, por supuesto.
Por supuesto. That's of course.
in Spanish.
Thanks, Serge. Hey, DT, didn't you forget something?
Did I? Let's see. Patience, persistence.
Yes, persistence.
You certainly do have that.
Why, whatever do you mean, my dear DT?
You have persistence.
I do?
You've released podcasts for 4 years, haven't you?
Yeah, at 104 episodes a year.
2 a week. Yeah, see,
Persistent.
It is good. And it is persistent.
Yes, and through back and forth exchanges just like this, we can plan out the specifics while also addressing anyone's skepticism.
Skepticism? The skepticism of those who haven't seen us produce yet, right?
Okay, yeah, but they soon will. Hey, remember when we first started this idea?
Yeah, I do. Ideas took shape. And like a brave crew,
we conquered the doubts, much like a breakthrough.
With every soundbite, it was fresh and new.
We crafted our tale a vibrant debut.
Yet challenges rose, like clouds in the blue.
Schedule changes, platforms gone kablooey.
But with grit in our hearts, we pushed on through.
And now we can rest during
Pause numero 2.
We know a lot about you already, because we know ourselves. For example, we know that you know how to listen to our podcast. We also know that you probably know how to subscribe. So as soon as you're done with that, tell us your story. We have ways you can contact us. It involves a special link where you can leave us a message. We may have an email address for you as well in the future, and we'll let you know if that happens. The reason for subscribing? I thought you'd never ask. When you subscribe, you automatically download all future episodes of that podcast. It just happens in your player without you having to go search again. How cool is that? This means better rankings for the podcast, more attention from advertisers, and more money. And this means more and better stuff for you. So your motivation is simple and easy. Subscribe today, whatever app and from whatever place you like. And don't just try to subscribe. There is no try. There is only do. We're changing the way we look at things, and remember, that's good. Eso es buenísimo. Also remember, this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Coaching happiness. Our call to action is right in the show notes. Find it, and you win too. Can I simple that? Por supuesto. Of course. Just simple it.
Please make sure your seatbelts are fastened and your tray tables are in their upright position.
And make sure simple is a verb like Google is a verb.
我们回来了. That's we are back.
Yeah, we are back. And so we conclude our show today.
And we conclude the entire year 2024.
Concluding all the way till next week, that is.
Yes, by getting this thing going and moving forward.
By the way, John.
Yes, DT?
I would like very much to compliment you on this setting we're in.
What do you mean?
It reminds me of a cozy cafe with people chatting and the aroma of coffee in the air.
Oh, okay, I'll go with this. I'll bet you and I are sitting at a small table with notebooks and laptops open.
Nice to meet you.
Right, Chorus. Thanks for the reminder. Hey, DT, thanks for meeting me. I wanted to discuss our podcast network idea.
Sure, John, but I have my reservations on this whole venture.
I get that, and here's what I heard. Tell me your opinion.
Well, starting a podcast network isn't just about recording episodes. It sounds overwhelming to me.
Calm down a second. It can be, because there's a lot to do, but that's where patience comes into play. We have to remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, that's a good old phrase. But patience? Really? How long until we see any results?
It takes time to grow an audience. Time that you put in or we put in on your behalf. It's not like every episode's going to blow up overnight.
Right, but are we prepared for that?
Persistence.
Absolutely. As you heard the chorus say, persistence is key. We have to keep creating content regularly, no matter how things feel at the moment.
So you're saying we should expect a lot of trial and error?
Exactly, because even the best podcasters don't hit their stride instantly. They keep at it.
I get that, but I'm still worried about what if we don't see improvements.
I think you worry too much.
Thank you, Lee, but seriously, DT, that's where repetition comes in. The more we practice and analyze our work, the better we will become.
Repetition.
Like refining our skills with each episode?
Yuppers. Each recording is a lesson. Our quality will improve with time and patience. It'll be way better than the average.
But won't it be disheartening to keep putting in effort without seeing immediate results?
It can be tough. That's why being part of a supportive community can help.
Community, huh? How does that tie in to patience and persistence?
Because they share our feelings. They know what's important. Sharing our progress helps too.
But what happens when we hit a wall?
That's when we lean into persistence even more. Obstacles are just temporary if we push through.
So you're saying setbacks are just part of the journey then?
Yes, that's right. Every successful person has faced challenges along the way.
That makes sense. It's like building a muscle.
And repetition strengthens that muscle.
And if we keep refining our content, we will eventually find our niche.
That is right. Just 1% improvement each time can lead to huge progress over the long term.
Yeah, taking knowledge and putting it into action. And you did something about that 1% per day a little while back too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, which leads to another good business when we have the time. So let's get going on this one and make that time.
That sounds good. In theory, we just have to put in lots of commitment.
You go, DT. Commitment. Commitment is what separates successful business people and successful podcasters from the rest.
Simple success.
I see. Yeah, so it's patience, persistence, and repetition. That forms the foundation.
You got it. Without any one of those elements, we might falter.
Okay. That makes me feel a little better about things.
Great. And remember, even the best creators start with 0 listeners and build up.
So the question is, are we ready for the long game?
And the answer is yes. You know, if we channel our energy into PPR, we can achieve our dreams.
Okay, I feel more convinced about this PPR thing. What's our next step then?
There's a couple things there, DT, but first, we should identify our niche. Let's choose topics that we're passionate about and that we believe our audience will love.
I love your podcast.
Like Alexa here.
Great. And then?
Next, we'll draft a content calendar because this will keep us on track and ensure we're covering a diverse range of topics without straying from our main focus.
Oh, I love that. And we can brainstorm ways to incorporate feedback in our episodes too.
Yeah, that's another great engagement tool. We'll just keep adapting and improving, learning from others along the way. Remember, with PPR, we're building something sustainable and rewarding.
I'm in, John. Let's take this journey of patience, persistence, and repetition together.
That's the spirit. Here's to our podcast network. Together, all of us will make it happen.
Which is how you've all gotten good.
Gracias por escuchar.
Salut. À la prochaine.
No robots were harmed in the making of this podcast.
This podcast and our other podcast are productions of Little Red Hen Industries.
Part of the Sonic Boom Network, where we do the hard work for you.
And Rishi helps our hen bake the bread by giving credit to these great people.
Techno King, John Brandy.
That's me.
Alter Ego, Doubting Thomas.
And that's me.
Fact Checker, Napoleon Bonaparte. Social Manager, Abraham Lincoln. Always on the internet's inner tubes whatever. Media Expert, Augustus Caesar. Psychologist, William James.
Human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind.
Sound Designer, Les Paul.
Thank you for inventing multitrack.
Language Consultant, Leah, the French do-your-own research lady.
Cough, cough, cough.
Videographer, Etomon Koshki.
Lights, camera, action.
Inspiration, many podcasts and other sources and of course Napoleon Hill. Additional inspiration and thanks go to Steve Jobs, Joseph Allen, Charles Darwin, Leonardo da Vinci, Henry David Thoreau, Abigail Adams, Jonathan Livingstone Seagull and the Stick Figure.
Quick disclaimer here. Many sentences contained in our podcasts are of a very dangerous length and were performed by highly trained vocal practitioners. On no account should inexperienced life forms attempt to imitate them without proper medical, jaw, and lung supervision.
And before we forget, you can also subscribe to both podcasts, join the community, and benefit from many of our techniques, including financial advice, patience, practice, and even podcast production for your ideas. Of course, you'll have to head to the show notes, either on your phone or on the web, to get the links and stuff, and all those clickable links are in the show notes. Hey, Emma, do you, Samantha, and Daniel want to tell us a bit more about this stuff?
Sure. The artificial intelligence or AI voices that you hear in our work are offered up by Google, Amazon Polly, and OpenAI. They don't sponsor us yet, but we love what they do, and we just love what AI can do when lovingly crafted.
Finally, you can find us through our network. We happily consider guests and consider guesting on other people's shows.
That sounds like a really old school computer voice. I'll call it Zarvox. It's definitely not Samantha or any other modern AI.
Yeah, I'm not feeling well today.
That's too bad, Samantha. Our music comes from Cute by Ben Sound and from Piano Background by Nick Simonados. Thanks also to AI MuseNet, Suno.ai, Udio.com, Phrase.io, 11 Labs, and Ace Studios. The sound effect credits go to Jackson Academy Ashmore, Canoe CG, Dr. Jekyll, Joe Payne, Everything Sounds, MK Play More Stories, ERH, Sand Emotions, Big Pickle 51, and Just Kidding. Yes, that's his or her name. All on freesound.org. Also, languages are the bomb.
Paul.